everyone, this is EFM for all conversations on entrepreneurship in action. My name is Nurul and welcome to Creative Minds, a series in collaboration with Kaki Seni Junior, a platform which enables parents and children to learn and explore their creative minds. Today we are speaking to Fairuz Sulaiman, an award-winning interdisciplinary arts practitioner, covering digital analog visual formats that have been used as music videos, animations for short films, and moving visuals for stage. He is among the coaches offering classes in kakisenijunior.com. So welcome to Fairuz, and thank you for spending your time with EFM.
My pleasure.
So Fairuz, can you tell a bit more about yourself, career, your past achievement, ongoing projects?
Cool, I will do. I'm a animation graduate from MMU, which is kind of down the street where I'm in right now. And since graduating, I've done a lot of exploration in terms of other forms of animation. So since university days, I've also done a lot of puppetry, live cameras, using animation, using analog methods. Like you mentioned, stuff, visuals for theater, visuals for music videos, etc. So those kind of things I've done mostly with a combination of digital techniques using software and stuff like that, but also with analog techniques using cutouts and OHPs and slide projectors and that kind of stuff. So I enjoy this kind of overlap between these two kind of mediums because I think each medium has its kind of own strengths and weaknesses, of course. So I'm basically exploring these kind of two different mediums and see how it looks like on stage or how it looks like as a physical object, because sometimes I do installations for exhibitions as well. So there's a variety of stuff, not just on the screen, but also on stage or on a physical space, or sometimes it's virtual. I had an exhibition that was a VR exhibition. You wear this goggle thing, and you draw in 3D space and you can walk around it, move around it, So it's a lot of exploration to different mediums, and I think that is, I'll keep on doing this for a while. But right now, what we're talking about today is about workshops. So what I'm doing with my workshop is I'm running a animation, like puppetry, a mix of what I just explained just now, digital and analog, and so this time it will be for kids to explore themselves, and we're thinking about in terms of. I'm just jumping into the workshop if that's okay with you.
Yes, go ahead.
So for the workshop, it's going to be about, like I think maybe you mentioned, 8 weeks of a program, and within that 8 weeks we will design from beginning to end a story and the character, how to set up the stage for your wayang, how to make the puppets, of course, how to make the music, of course, and then we're going to have a show at the end of the 8 weeks. So the kids who participate in the workshop will have their own kind of screening of their work or their story at the end of the 8 weeks, and then we'll have a party online.
Boy.
Yeah.
So we have a graduation party of a sort.
Have a graduation party with sirap bandung and popcorn, maybe if we can find some.
Provided that MCO is over.
I hope so, by 8 weeks. Let's hope that happens. That will be the plan. And the workshop will be a combination, as I said just now, of digital and analog mediums, because I still feel like analog has a lot to offer in terms of impromptu. It's very impromptu as well, and it's also very immediate. You don't have to wait for the computer to render, and you can just immediately move it around and adjust it in real time. So stuff like that is very important, and I feel that kids who join the workshop will really enjoy that part, because I think we've been a lot on computers these days, we've been a lot on our screen these days, and when you touch like with a finger these days, so when you cut stuff and you tie stuff and use more of your other parts of the fingers, I think you'd be like, I didn't know I had a thumb, It's like I haven't used a thumb for so long. I just use my index finger to swipe, I have a thumb now. Okay, cool. What can I do with the thumb? Like you can hold stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So things like going back, not to say going back to basics, but more like exploring the other parts that are not so digital and flat on the screen, you know.
So basically from what you have been talking about, this is not the first time you're having this workshop. You have done this before with other children's before this.
I have, but the workshops we have done in the past were more physical. Like it was before MCO and before the pandemic,
definitely.
of course. So during that time, of course, you can, feel the energy of the group. You can laugh, you can, and you can kacau the kids as well, and not kacau.
You can do that online, no?
Yeah, we can do it somewhat online. I mean, I cannot kacau you right away. I mean, I gotta go through a screen. I mean, even that I can't even pass through the screen. But it's this kind of physical presence that you don't have online. That when you do workshop online, when you do physical workshop is totally different, right? So, but in terms of doing an online workshop with art, talking about art and teaching art, this is going to be my first time doing this, and so this will be quite a interesting challenge and a very exciting challenge as well, as how to get kids to be engaged, because the screen is only how big, and then and if you have very intricate processes of cutting and stuff like that, you want to show it to the screen like that. Sometimes you don't see what's going on. If your tablet's too small, for instance, or the kids watching from an iPhone, how are they going to see what I'm doing? So there's these kind of challenges in terms of being able to see what's happening.
The engagement with your audience. Yeah. Okay, so with that being said, because like you say, cutting and so on, so for your class, to attend your class, that means there is some requirements, or it's just like, as long as you have interest, you can register and attend?
Well, it's a bit of both. You need to have interest. I think because interest is what's going to keep you coming for the next week and next week and next week.
8 weeks. You have a commitment there.
8 weeks. But it also requires a bit of skills and a bit of stuff you need at home. So I think part of the workshop, they also give you like a toolkit, like a toolbox.
I think I saw it on the platform that says that whoever registered will get a toolkit.
Yeah, that toolkit comes with the 30 ringgit from the donation that you pay. So I'm not sure what's exactly in the toolkit yet, but there will be some material in there that you can use to start off with the project, with the workshop. But also, I'm also looking at stuff that you can find in your kitchen, in your your living room, in your laundry room, stuff that you can just take out and, hey, I can use this cardboard from my cereal box to make something. Yes, so it will have that kind of combination of materials that exist in that toolkit, but also what's already in your house. Because I'm also stuck as well for the MCO. The art shops are closed, so I really have also limited kind of material to do the workshop. So I'm working on my own limitations. So I'm using egg cartons to make art. I'm using cereal boxes to make art. My soya bean milk carton to make art. So I'm assuming some kids will have the same, or maybe more, maybe less. And so I'll try to kind of balance the DIY-ness so that everybody can do it without having to get a 5,000 fine from the government because you're buying something that is not essential, which is paper. But okay. Anyway, so I'll try to make it as DIY as possible for that part.
Okay, so that you just highlighted an additional benefits to your class. Basically, then there is a recycling and upcycling exercise additional benefit to your class apart from the existing material.
Correct.
So other benefits. Okay, so you said you're gonna teach them how to do puppeteers, do stories, and okay. So can you expand on by signing to the class, the child what can they gain by signing up your class, and then whether the parents themselves are welcome to assist the kids, or you say like, let the kids explore on their own and manage on their own?
Yeah. Well, this I'll break the answer into a couple of segments. First question that you had: what would the kids learn? Well, apart from a skill, which is making engaging in this kind of art form, which is not this traditional, but it's also, you can find it anywhere around the world. Wayang is not just exclusive to Malaysia or Southeast Asia. So this kind of puppetry storytelling thing is a skill that I feel like is very, how do I say it? It helps you tell, it brings out stories from you. So it's another way of artists like letting out things, because sometimes you have a lot of stuff.
Self-expression?
Yeah, it's a form of self-expression, but also it's also a form of, because you're dealing with characters, yeah? So these characters, sometimes when you make them, when you design them, when you come up with them, you have some relation to you. This is not a character that exists in a silo, that has no relationship to the person. It has relationship to the person who made it. So if you are, somebody who has, so my workshop, what I'm trying to do is I would try to investigate not just the making step 1, step 2, step 3, a very, IKEA kind of manual of how to make puppets. That's one part. But it's also about thinking about you as the curator and you as the designer when you telling your story. So it's about self-discovery as well. Looking into yourself, like looking into some of your characteristics that you are maybe ashamed about, or maybe you're proud about, and see how we can take those characteristics about yourself and turn into a puppet. And then that puppet can maybe, perform a scenario whereby, in the real, not in the real world, but in this wayang world, what would this character do? Say, he or she found somebody who has a white flag in front of the house, what would this person do? So it kind of ties in with your own behavior. So I'm looking at that kind of approach as to this workshop. So the stories and the characters all have some kind of relation to the student or the kid who's making the work, so that they can I didn't know, these characters can say these kind of things, or I don't know these characters can perform these kind of things. Maybe in my real life, when I stop doing this workshop, maybe I can also emulate what this character did, and be this character, in the real world, for instance. So that's also something great about wayang and puppetry and this kind of imagination and characters, because you can put yourself in there and then take yourself out. So I like this kind of ideas, especially when it comes to story building, character building, because it's quite different from this drawing on paper or abstract painting, which is great. This is also a form of expression, as you said. But this is about expressing your inner being, is also something else, and exploring what's happening inside of you sometimes. Because when I've been doing this puppetry as well, designing masks as well, designing puppets, it's like, why am I designing the eyes to be so big? Why am I designing the nose to be small? Is there a reason why my eyes are big in my designs, right? So there could be something there. Like maybe you're saying that you are a very inquisitive person. Maybe I'm saying I'm a very curious person about the world. So there will be a mix of kind of discovering yourself while we're doing the puppets. Not just about, like I said, IKEA step 1 to 3, and then at the end of the show. Yeah, that's you can go to YouTube and search like how to make puppet.
That's why I was like thinking that instead of you're sending a worksheet and it's a stencil. So from child 1, child 2, child 3, maybe the puppet is the same, only how to color it differently.
Correct.
What you're saying now, it's like everything is self-expressed by individual. Therefore, each item will come out differently.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So this is kind of I would say the approach, the philosophy based on your question that I'm working on. So back to the parents, which is your second question, if the parents can join. So this is a difficult question because I love my parents, and I'm not a parent. So, but sometimes, parents can be, I don't know whether you want to edit this, Arif, but sometimes parents can be quite, draw within the line, color within, and they want the kids to have a beautiful product or a great product that they can talk about and share. I mean, great that you support your kids. Great that you are proud of what your kids are doing. But for this workshop, I think it's also very important to kind of let it go. Because if you tell the kid what to draw, what to, and then that's you as a parent making the puppet, not your kid, So the kid has to explore him or herself, not to be told to what to do. Yeah.
So the
I think
restriction of the mind, because they
yeah.
have, out of respect for the parents and so on.
Yeah.
So you want them to be let
So
go.
there's a fine line that needs to be found, between like maybe if they don't know how to cut properly, okay, the parent can assist. Maybe if it involves sharp objects that they might poke, they think, okay, the parents can assist. But when it comes to, okay, what do you think about it? What do you feel? Draw whatever you want. Then the parents, I think, it would be nice to just step back and let your kid kind of like just burst onto the paper, because once we start telling them what to do from a young age, it's really hard to get them out of that mindset as they grow older, because they've been told what to do. And then once one day you give them a blank piece of paper, do anything you want, they're like, I don't know what to do because I've been told all my life what to do, So I believe, my parents did this to me, and I'm very grateful for this, where they just say, okay, here's a piece of paper, some crayons, do whatever you want, when you're done, show me, So I'll say, okay, that's what I did. Oh, great, tell me about it. So that kind of nudging and questioning and inquiry from the parents is very important, of course, right? But of course, at the same time, you also don't want to hangkang the kids from, being able to explore things. To close their minds and say, you only draw within the circle, only paint within that box,
Why is the face not proportionate?
Why is there only one eye? Why is the nose of the butt? Why? It's like, don't have to ask, just ask why. Why is the nose of the butt? Because, he wants to smell, I don't know. But instead of telling them, like, oh, no, the nose has to be here, or the eyes have to ask. Be curious about them, because they will tell you a lot more things, more interesting things about it than you telling them what to do. So to your answer to your question, it's a mix of that, like guiding, facilitating, but not directing, or not directing, but more like facilitating and supporting. That's definitely, I think, very important. Because if I heard correctly, somebody told me like some of the participants are really young, like below 9. So they might not be able to handle scissors or, cutting and stuff like that, which is understandable. But in this case, in that scenario, I think the parents will be very helpful. If they have siblings as well, maybe older siblings.
I guess before the class starts, then maybe you have to engage with the parents first and bring what is required of them. Then they'll know more. Okay, I totally agree with about not restricting the children's mind and letting them explore as much as possible on their creativity. So Fairuz, I believe based on your stories, based on what you have told us just now, it's about what you're going to do with the class. So where can parents know about your past work? Is there a website they can refer to and then see the works that you have done earlier?
I have a official website is www.fairuzsulaiman.com. And also my Instagram is Fairuz Sulaiman, just Fairuz Sulaiman. And on there's a lot of projects that I've been doing for the past 15, 18 years. It's been a long time since I've graduated. And currently I'm working on a few things, which is this Kakisini thing. But also I'm working on a project with Cendana to do a workshop with Orang Asli kids, to do wayang workshops with them. And the workshops would be a combination of their folklore and their culture and their technology, like their crafts, stuff that they can only find within their surroundings, and combine with a bit of digital analog, technology, and see what happens in the end, what kind of performance and how does a wayang change if it's not typical Kelantan or Balinese wayang characters. So we would do this workshop where we design from scratch the whole interaction, the whole storyline, the whole character from their point of view. So that will be ongoing. We'll probably start end of the year, hopefully.
Again, have to wait until physical classes can happen.
Yeah, correct. That's the other thing. And so that's kind of up in the air at the moment. So at the moment, for the time being, we're working on for the Kakisini
the online classes for the Kakisini Junior platform.
Right. But they will have similarities in a way where we talked about discovery and, finding your own voice, being empowered, blah, 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 blah. All those things will also be part of this Kakisini workshop as the one with the orang asli kids.
Oh, okay. So we are looking forward to the class.
Me
when
too.
You start. And then we are looking forward for the end party where all the will showcase their work.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Okay. So any last words since we are coming to the end of our interview?
Right. As you mentioned, the watch party, I think as parents and also for the kids who are listening, if they are listening, don't worry so much about the watch party, like the outcome is really just a show, but what's going to be more, for me, I hope, and also for you guys, more enjoyable is the process, because what we do in that 8 weeks is going to accumulate to that one show, of course, but what we do in that 8 weeks is going to be a lot more, is much more important, so to focus on what's happening, what you're going through, and the discussions that we have, the reflections that are going to happen as well. So those things, I think, within the 8 weeks prior to the watch party, is going to be should be, and I hope to be, the fun part of the workshop more than just the show. But please sign up, and I'll see you there, and we'll have I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a great time. So I hope that everybody else would join in as well. But it will be a interesting 8 weeks. I can assure you that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So wait, when is the class actually? So that
August. It will start August 5th. I believe. Yeah. Okay. And it will go on until the 23rd of September.
Do sign up before August 5th. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody do sign up before August 5th. But don't worry if you miss the August 5th. I guess then there will be another. You will not be just sending one class, right? So then after that, then will be another class. So
I would hope so. I hope if there is strong reception for it, then we will definitely do a second, third, or fourth, who knows, version of it. Yeah, because it's a combination of live. Because the online workshop will sometimes have videos that are already prepared that the kids will watch and do it on their own in their own time. But there'll also be parts where it will be live like this, where I can talk to them and have discussions with them and kind of reflections with them. So it's a combination, it's a hybrid kind of workshop. So you have some live sessions like this, and also some prepared pre-recorded video sessions with slides that you just have to read and watch, and then next week we talk about it, for instance. So it's a combination of both kind of videos.
Right. So with that, we conclude today's interview. It was fun. It was enlightening.
Likewise.
Your enthusiasm.
Well, it's a Thursday morning, of course. I haven't started my day yet, so of course it's gonna be. Luckily, it wasn't at night. I'll be like, but yeah, enthusiasm.
So, thank you, Fairuz, for the great sharing. So, to our listeners and viewers, kakisnijunior.com initiative is not only for children who wants to discover their passion, but it's also about getting exposure to learn more through arts and culture. So, be sure to check out Fairuz classes, as well as all the other classes on kakisnijunior.com. But for all other resources on entrepreneurship, browse through efm.live, which has more than 1,000 podcasts available for you to choose from. Okay, bye everyone.
Ciao. It's my phone. Bye.